This is the CBS Evening News with Connie Chung in Portland, Oregon, and Dan Rather in New York.
Good evening. The week is ending with some unsettling news about the U.S. economy. The unemployment rate is up for the first time in months, and so are interest rates for the first time in years. On Wall Street, that news about interest rates especially touched off a plunge in stock prices. CBS News economics correspondent Ray Brady begins our coverage.
Behind closed doors, the Federal Reserve Board today raised short-term interest rates. Just 1/4 percentage point, but it's the first time the Fed has raised interest rates in 5 years. Within 30 minutes of the announcement, Wall Street's big bull market was brought to its knees, down more than 40 points. The stock exchange stepped in to control some computer trading, but the Dow ended the day down a whopping 96 points, its biggest fall since 1991. Still, the Fed's move is an attempt to head off inflation. There have been price increases in cotton, lumber, and other commodities. Higher interest rates could slow up business just enough to keep prices from rising.
If you get an early start in fighting inflation, as the Fed is doing now, the odds are the economy won't take as much of a hit from tight money and high interest rates as would be the case if the Fed waited too long.
Already this afternoon, one bank, Chicago's Harris Trust, raised its prime rate for business borrowers. For consumers on Main Street, variable rate mortgages will rise a bit, while conventional mortgages could hold steady. Savers can celebrate.
It means people holding CDs will at long last see higher rates.
While the economy continues on a steady, even course, some experts worry that any further signs of inflation could lead to still higher interest rates later this year. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
This is Rita Braver at the White House, where officials were working hard to explain that a rise in the unemployment rate to 6.7%, up from 6.4% the month before, was really a drop because the government has changed the way it compiles the figures. In fact, Treasury Secretary Benson was crowing that more jobs are being created.
And the jobs are good-paying jobs. They're not just hamburger flipping jobs.
But it was harder to get the administration's opinion on the Fed's announcement that short-term interest rates would go up.
I said we respect their independence.
But some economists believe the earthquake in California and recent bad weather in the East have so disrupted economic activity that the Fed should not have moved now.
So for several months, we are simply not going to have any information about the economy that is not severely distorted about what's really going on.
And on Capitol Hill, there was concern that the Fed could be jeopardizing the fragile but improving U.S. economy, including job growth.
In my view, the recovery did not really get going until recently. We're by no means certain that it will continue. A lot of working people are only now starting to see some benefit.
The Fed's move comes just as the administration is set to unveil its new budget plan. But officials here insist that they allowed for the rise in interest rates and are not worried that it will drive up government spending and the deficit. Rita Braver, CBS News at the White House.
Besides the economy, there's a lot of concern around the country tonight about milk. Some dairy farmers are now giving their cows a growth hormone to produce more milk per cow. But many consumers say they won't drink it. CBS News health correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott reports on the outcry over spilt milk.
As dairy farmers today began injecting their cows with VGH, a genetically engineered hormone that makes them produce more milk, consumers around the country were defiantly pouring theirs out.
Not safe for children!
In Wisconsin, Atlanta, Washington, and New York City, consumers are angry over the government's go-ahead for VGH and its decision not to require dairies that use growth hormone to list it as an ingredient.
They should have labels on this. All consumers should have the right to know what they're drinking.